Welcome to The Practical Intuitive, where each Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, where host Robin Fritz explores mind, body, and spirit for the real world. Because we are all intuitives and healers, and we must all learn to love ourselves and live that love every day. Robin is a trained and certified intuitive and spiritual consultant and hypnotherapist with an international practice based in Seattle, Washington. As the practical intuitive, she covers personal and business intuition, animal communication, mediumship, space clearing, past life regression, shamanic insights, energy healing, soul choice. It's all here. Readings, healings, and funny, warm, thought-provoking conversations. It's Robin Fritz, the Practical Intuitive, helping you mastermind body and spirit for the real world. No ifs, ands, buts, or BS ever.
Welcome to the Practical Intuitive, Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz. We're live on a sort of gray, sunny day in Seattle, Washington. So thank you for joining me today. And today, March 5th, 2018, we're going to be talking about getting real with our energy boundaries. Energy boundaries is a topic I am extremely fond of because we all need help in that area, and I've seen such dramatic improvements in people's lives when they begin to understand what our energy boundaries are and how we can work with them to make our personal and business lives even better. So first, though, I'd like to jump into a few things here. My show and my work are about helping everyone understand that we are all naturally intuitive. We are all naturally healers. And we can take advantage of those skills and develop them even more by literally sitting down and working with them. But never fear, don't think that I think I'm intuitive or so on, because you are. It's part of who we are. It's part of being here on this planet. And it's a constant effort to work at it because we haven't been taught how to deal with that. And that's fine. That's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. And that's what we work together on in community. So I'm also happy if you'd like to call in today to chat about our topic, to give your insights, or to get a quick reading. That phone number is 202-570-7057. But if you're shy and you don't want to come on live, and that's fine, you can always email me a question at my website, robinfritz.com. That's ROBYN, F as in Frank, RITZ as in zebra, robinfritz.com. Or you can connect with me on Facebook at my business page, The Practical Intuitive, Robin M. Fritz. So I'm always thrilled to chat with people. I do a weekly Facebook Live at the OMTimes Institute page, and then again an hour later on my Practical Intuitive page. It's Monday mornings. So all to help you become your best self, give you tips on how it took me a long time, how to learn. A lot of bad mistakes I made, a lot of things that got me messed up, and that's kind of why I'm out there, so that other people can learn how to do these things, learning to work with their intuition and their healing abilities, including their energy boundaries, much easier and faster than I did. You know, it's just that's how we roll. Let's have everybody get better at it. So as we get started today, I'd like to start the way I do every week with a connection quickly with the crystal Fallon, the citrine Lemurian quartz. Now, Fallon is a rare power crystal. We have been partners for many lifetimes. We're back together in this lifetime. Why? Because I finally, after hundreds of years, kind of worked my way back to living and working in the world better than I had in some lifetimes. And so we're back again working with people to help them help themselves. So as you connect with Fallon in this hour, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. What matters is how your intuition works. So whether you may see pictures, you may hear him chat with you. He has a goofy sense of humor. Or feel his energy, which is very powerful, or simply know that you're connected with him. Just relax and open yourself up to that experience. At the end of the show, will help you close yourself down so that you can walk away just really firmly reintegrated with the world here. So his energy is very powerful. So if you take your attention to the top of your head, and just imagine that we're helping connect mind, body, and spirit together here, even more connected than they were. And as you breathe down from the top of your head to your feet, just imagine that anything blocking you up today, anything that was holding you back, the cares of the day, just the busyness of the day, just release those blockages and spend this time with us. So breathe down from the top of your head, down your face, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, your knees, and your feet. The top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And as you do that, just feel that blockages and just little stuck things drifting away, and you're connecting with this ancient crystal. And now as you imagine breathing up from the bottom of your feet, imagine that Fallon is rotating outside your body. In the shape of a crystal ball, it tends to give off a gold light if you can see that or feel it. Moving up from your feet, past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your face, and the top of your head, your crown chakra. So you may feel Fallon is really all about love and connection. So you can feel that with each beat of your heart. Just imagine love just bursting through your body with your blood and really helping you connect more deeply with yourself. So again, today I'd like to talk about energy boundaries, getting real with our energy boundaries, the sweet, the scary, the must-dos that we need to take into consideration to keep ourselves healthy and balanced. So once again, if you have a question, you're welcome to call in 202-570-7057. Be delighted to take your calls, hear your comments, and work together with you on the show. So now to getting real with energy boundaries. Well, here's the thing. I have worked very hard in this lifetime to really get a handle on my energy boundaries, to learn how they operate, and to find ways that I can maintain my mind, body, and spirit in a healthy way and go about my personal and my business lives as strongly as possible. And I, have to say right out that there were a lot of good reasons for that, and that is that I became handicapped years ago. I couldn't work for 15 years during those years where everybody's building up their equity position in the world. I was losing mine. And while we can all face health issues or accidents or any one of a number of things that can throw us off balance, one of the things I'd learned in this process of, being a hermit in the city for a number of years, being isolated with my animal family, not really getting out a lot, is how I was off balance in the world and kind of why. And when I started getting better and I started creating techniques to get better and I started really digging down to figure out why I was having issues, and not only that I was having issues, but my oldest dog, Murphy, was having issues. What was that all about, and how could I get past that? Now, a word of warning to everyone who's ever suffered from any kind of situation, whether you've had like a car accident, an accident of some kind, a surgery that went wrong, that was my case. Just, years of being down and not really functioning, what causes that? life causes that. Things happen, things get in our way. But it's how we approach that and how we work with that that determines, in part, whether we get better or not. Granted, there are some things, physical-wise, health-wise, in a number of different ways why we may never improve. I mean, some people have lost the use of their eyes or their hearing or different body parts and that kind of thing. Those are things that happen to us, but we also have a way of facing those things and of working with them. And that's where we can come down and talk about, what energy boundaries are and how they work with us and how we can manage them. And as I said, the sweet, the scary, and the must do. So if you want to think about your energy boundary as an energy field, think of it as a second skin or even a second body that surrounds your physical body, right? We're born with this second physical or etheric body. You can't see it unless you look at it intuitively, but you certainly experience it every day. We're born with it, we'll die with it, and between that, most of us will ignore it. And that's why we aren't the best that we could be at home or at work. So our energy body, as it surrounds our physical body, it has a job to do, and its job is to filter experiences. So when, you hear the phrase, we are all one. We are all one. And that's like crazy because it's not true. We are not all one. But what that phrase is trying to do is explain that we are all made of energy, and energy is very fluid and it moves around, just like our physical bodies move around. So our energy body is that part of us that is fluid and that reaches out and explores the world around us. And so in part then what it does is attract experiences to us and attract people to us. And, in the best of all possible worlds, it attracts new friends, fun new experiences, enough money to live on, good food, all of those things that really support our physical bodies so we can keep doing things in the world, so we can do what it is we signed up to do when we chose our bodies. Now, granted, we all signed up for one thing, to have fun, to play, to explore, to grow in love. That's what we came here to do. But we also have other jobs. So whether you sell shoes for a living, whether you work as I do as an intuitive and spiritual consultant, or even also as a past life regression specialist, whether you're a school teacher, whether you're a politician, whatever it is that you do, that is important for you. That is important for growing your soul. And never let anybody tell you that you're not valuable for the work that you're doing, that pays the bills, and also that helps you go out and function in the world. And your energy boundary or your energy body is helping you do that. It's like a self-contained unit that can handle the easy and the difficult and the good and the bad. The problem with it is, it's going out exploring the world, and it's also trying to shelter us from experiences that might knock us off balance, right? Things that come at us that may not be safe, but that also just may knock us off balance. And that could be anything, an interaction with a friend that turns out not to be the friendliest interaction, or, even just enjoying yourself on a nice day, relaxing, taking a nap, whatever it is. Our energy body is always at work. So the idea that it's only there to protect us isn't quite right. While it is your natural security force, it's really out there supporting your physical body. What the problem is that we don't know it's there. We haven't been trained to think about it as being there. We've lost connection with our intuitive and healing abilities, so we don't know that they're there. And this I know for a fact because I work with non-humans. This puzzles all the other beings that are out there, whether they're the trees that surround our homes themselves, all of the animals in the world, the buildings, everything out there is alive, and they all understand energy boundaries. And we humans are like at the bottom of understanding things. It's not our fault. We've just been led away from that. We have busy lives. We have a scientific mindset that, only measures the physical things and then makes up something like quantum physics to just mess us up. Not even real and not even helpful. And our energy boundaries that floundering around there trying to get our attention. So it's really kind of an interesting thing because as I'm describing it to you, you may think, wow, that's frustrating, or we're kind of embarrassed because it's something that's so fundamental that we don't know anything about. And the truth is we should be because other beings are like trying to connect with us, but our unbalanced energy boundaries, our energy body is not able to really do its job of helping us to connect with other things because we don't know it's there. So we don't know how to take care of it. And it's trying to take care of us and get our attention, and we're not paying any attention to it. So that's kind of what energy boundaries are. And let me tell you we're going to run into a break here quickly, but why you'd want to learn to manage them. Well, we don't want to be the idiots of the universe, right? But we also want life to be easier and more balanced. And that comes from learning about our entire body, not just our physical body. But then there are some people who have more trouble than others. Those are the people who, some of them call themselves empaths, and I'd like to get people away from using that term because it's a term that causes limitations for us when we don't really have limitations. We just have a lack of knowledge of how to work with some things. But if you're feeling like you're constantly in crisis, if you feel that you're drained in crowds, or you feel tired all the time, that you're giving away money and time and everything else, then you've got a problem with your energy boundaries. We'll come back to talk about the sweet and the scary and the must-dos after the break.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Change and growth are part of natural life and also part of your spiritual life. Everyone needs support and guidance, especially during life passages. Upgrade yourself with the OMTimes Experts program. With OMTimes Experts, you have access to the best intuitive coaches, spiritual teachers, counselors, astrologists, and oracles. Our team was carefully selected so you can trust. Find out more at experts.omtimes.com.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living. A chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
Shopping for yourself or loved ones? Check out the best rock shop around, Earthlight Rocks and Gems in Kirkland, Washington. Whether you're looking for metaphysical support or just love nature's art, Earthlight has it all. Raw rocks, crystals, tumbled stones of all kinds, carvings, cabs, fossils, tumblers, rare minerals in all price ranges, and books. They also have jewelry, including custom pieces and beads to make your own. Open 7 days a week, the Earthlight store has been around since 1988 and is run by Kim and Todd Valines. Find them online at earthlightgems.com, at Etsy at earthlightgems.etsy.com, or on Facebook at Earthlight Rocks and Gems. Have a question? Email Kim at the store, earthlightgems.com. And just for OMTimes listeners, receive 10% off orders over $50 at their Etsy account with coupon code EarthlightGems. That's earthlightgems.etsy.com or the store at earthlightgems.com.
I'm Fidel Nshambo. I was born in a city called Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then, boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America, and all your problems are done. They don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz, and we are live here in Seattle, Washington. Today we're talking about getting real with our energy boundaries, the sweet stuff, the scary stuff, the must-do stuff to really manage our energy body and boundaries properly. So I was talking about some of the reasons why you'd want to learn to manage your energy boundaries. Well, if you're pretty good at it already, I mean, you know that you need to keep a handle on it because we want to be our best at home and at work. We want to be right there with our kids, human and animal, with our friends and family. We want to get ahead in the world and make an impact, make a difference, pay the bills, right? But, you know, if you've got some issues going on, there are a number of different things that could affect that. One of those is, you know, if you ever gone out and you've had something scare you or upset you and you go, I was just beside myself. You know, and stop and think about that, because when we're frightened, when something happens, when you say I was just beside myself, in a sense you really kind of are. We kind of scare our souls or our astral body to kind of leap sideways, and that's a sign of needing to understand and manage our energy body better. Another one, which has popped up a lot for me and my clients in the last few weeks, is grief. People who have not been able to get past losing someone they love. Now, I did a Facebook Live this morning, and I totally get that. You know, this week is the 6th anniversary of the loss of my soulmate, my beloved dog, Murphy. Even knowing 6 weeks ahead of time that she was dying did not make that last day any easier. But if we get stuck in grief, then we can't move on. If you find you can't leave the house, you can't find some ways to be happy again, you can't move on with your life, then you're stuck. Then your energy body needs help. Your energy boundaries are off balance. Doesn't mean you can't grieve. We all need to grieve. And I'm not going to tell you there's a timeline for grief, but I am going to tell you that grief means loving and living on, allowing our dead to move on, allowing ourselves to move on. And yes, we're moving on without them because they are no longer here in their physical bodies, but they have been a part of our lives, and growing our lives and growing our souls over time deals with the good experiences and the tough ones. And the tough ones are losing our loved ones. Other reasons why your energy body or boundaries may have issues: if you make poor decisions, if you have addictions or sensitivities, if people say you're an empath and you think of that as something that just means you can't handle your feelings, because that's not true. I'd like people to quit using the word empath, because being an empath is something else, and some people who are unbalanced empaths really need to work on their energy boundaries. Empathy is another thing entirely, but what they're talking about is clairsentience, which is the intuitive ability to feel things. So you feel the energy of other beings, you feel their feelings, and you have to learn to distinguish between what's theirs and what's yours, and how to let that which is someone else's bounce off of you, or to look at it like I do as a consultant, and working with them and getting those boundaries back and strong again. But the other thing that gets us off balance as an energy boundary issue is our lack of self-worth. And I know this from working with the stuck dead with my dad, that most of us don't love ourselves, whether we're alive or dead. And we feel that we're not worthy of love. And a lot of our religious and cultural conditioning is to teach us the dogmatic ways of not loving ourselves. That we don't feel we're worthy of it, or we've made mistakes, so we're not worthy. Well, making mistakes is part of life. It's what you do with a mistake, right? It's how you continue to grow and develop and learn from your mistakes. I was having the worst time with my patients with my two new animal kids, Ollie, my Cavalier, and Karis, a Russian blue cat. And then I realized that I already knew it was me, but it was that I was just physically, mentally exhausted. And I just needed to back up, get some rest, and then again, reinforce my own energy boundary. Because that's a lifelong job that we have. Once you understand how it works, it pretty much kicks in, but that doesn't mean you don't check in and take care of it, just like you take a shower every day and feed yourself every day. But the lack of self-love is a big issue. So if you're swallowing the religious and cultural traditions all around you, instead of asking how they serve your needs and interests and the worldview you live by, whatever that is, then, you may have an issue that you want to think about. The world is fast and busy, and what do we do, and how do we handle the news? I remember going into the Microsoft store a few years ago, and they had these video games up on the wall, and I don't watch video games. I'm too lazy to figure it out, and they're all violent, and I was just like horrified. Are people looking at that stuff all day long, and how do they even survive? Because that's just this area of negativity, and that's a real direct hit on your energy boundaries. So let's talk about the sweet, the scary, and what we're going to do about it. So again, if you'd like to call in, share your thoughts, your experience with your energy boundaries, or for a quick reading, 202-570-7057, or email me at my website, robinfritz.com, ROBYNFRITZ.com, or connect with me at the Practical Intuitive Robin M. Fritz on Facebook. So the sweet. So our energy body helps us get along in the world, and we're born with it, and then we forget about it because nobody taught us about it. And it's out there, trying to do a job for us, but because we don't feed it and put clothes on it and give it a bath and do all those things that we do with everything else in our lives, it just gets kind of tattered. But what's really cute and really very, very sweet is that Fallon, my crystal, and I have developed this way of working with people individually on their energy body and energy boundaries, because each of them is different, just like we're all different people. And, people are like, oh my God, I don't want to see what a failure I am. You're not a failure. It's just that you haven't looked at what these things are. But when people tap into them, their energy body gets so excited. And people will call me up and go, guess what? My energy body has a name, and it's so-and-so. And it's just hilarious, and it's sweet, and it's touching, because really you're connecting with a part of your own body, mind, and spirit that you haven't connected to intimately before. And so it just gets giddy with excitement and with joy that you're finally connecting with it. And then it gets to shore up itself so that it can be stronger and better to support you. So, how sweet is that, right? That's awesome. So the scary. There are plenty of scary things about energy boundaries that aren't really solid and stable. If you've listened to my show before or seen the Facebook Live, you may know the story of my discovering that our local regional trauma center was literally sucking out my energy, and I wasn't even there. And doing it on a regular basis. Now, what does that mean? It means that everything out there that you see and you don't see is alive. It has a soul. It has consciousness. It has a job to do, a responsibility to do that job, and a choice about doing it. So when we create things like hospitals, their job is to heal. And they don't always, just like we don't always, have all the energy that we need to get a job done. That's how our energy body reaches out and tries to pull energy from other places, right? That's how people feel like other people overwhelm them at times. People sometimes don't even realize that they're reaching out and sucking up other people's energy. They just know that they need to do something to feel better, and they they do it without really knowing, and their energy body takes over. Well, other beings are very conscious about what they're doing, and hospitals in particular have a sacred job to take care of us. So they're out there sucking up the energy of every open being out there that has energy to suck, which is mostly humans, right? Because we don't know what we're doing with our energy boundaries. So you can get sick, like I was sick for years. And when I realized that I was being sucked dry without my permission by a hospital, not because it was evil, not because it was bad, but because I was there and it didn't realize that maybe I was unwilling. Because, I mean, we're supposed to know more than we do. And other beings are like always surprised. When I talk to them, they're always so surprised that humans are like so basically ignorant. And I'll put myself at the top of that list. Sorely ignorant, and that's why I'm out there trying to teach people the things that I had to learn the hard way, so you don't have to learn them the hard way. So that's one thing. But then I hear people, so you need to, say, no, I'm not going to allow my energy to leave my body. And if you hear of an accident or something in your hometown, you can sit down and you can offer some energy to your local trauma center, but be very careful about that. I'm available for 10 minutes, or I have this amount and no more. So that you're setting limits and you're setting, reasons for why you can do something and how much you can do. But here's some other things. The Catholic Church has called for an increase in exorcists. Yes, you heard that right, an increase in exorcists. Why? Because there are a lot of people out there suffering from possession issues. And I'm like, okay, Robin, you just scared me. I hope I did, because possession is real. And it's not like the scary, stupid stuff that you see in movies. What it is that for some very long period of time, as explained to me by a goddess, when Fallon and I were creating this process of helping a lot of the stuck dead move over at once, this is what you and Fallon did eons ago. And I'm like, wow, really? Because I felt something when I figured it out. It was like I was tapping into something, but I didn't know what that was. And what it was my own past life memories. But here's the thing. There's a lot of dead out there who are wandering around because they don't love themselves enough to actually go to the afterlife. There's other dead who have no interest in going to the afterlife, and they like to mess with people. And there are other things that aren't human that are out there moving around, because the universe really is more complex than we realize. And a lot of it we can't physically see. So, now the Catholic Church is kind of goofed up in a lot of ways too, because they say, oh, well, these tarot card readers, they're causing issues. It's like, no, you don't even know what you people are talking about. But what is true is that there are things out there that will affect us. And as we go out and about our regular days, even if you're not tapping your intuitive and healing abilities, you will be affected by these things that are looking for a safe place to land and energy to suck up. So if you're suddenly noticing that you're addicted to something, or you're suddenly acting addicted to something, that's probably not you. That's some sort of being that was addicted to something that is learning how to suck your energy dry. See, I told you I was going to be talking about scary things. So, so it's like, oh my gosh. So, well, I don't approve of the whole process of exorcism, but there are ways of depossessing ourselves of attachments. And I do that in soul clearings. I teach people how to do it for themselves. There are all kinds of ways of dealing with that, but it's all a process too. It starts first with understanding what your energy boundary is, how your particular energy body works, so that you can protect yourself from what's going on out there. I mean, honestly, you're not going to walk around when it's 20 degrees outside and a blizzard is going on. You're not going to walk around in a t-shirt and shorts and barefoot outside, right? Because that would be stupid. And none of you are stupid. None of us are really stupid on purpose. We just don't understand this whole energy body thing, and that's how we get ourselves in trouble, and that's how the scary stuff affects us. So there's that. But then there's also the really wonderful, innocent people who say, well, I'm talking to dead people all the time, so I guess I'm a medium, and I guess I should learn how to be a medium. And I will go, absolutely not. That is not a reason for you to be a medium. If you're interested in being a medium, that's one thing. But just because you think there are dead people talking to you does not mean that you're a medium or should be a medium. It means that you're open enough that the dead who are looking for help, if they are the dead and not some other attachment kind of thing that's out there, because there are really lots of things out there that have nothing to do with humans, but are willing to attach themselves to us. That's just you not having a really good solid energy boundary. So you're letting things come at you that you may not really be interested in, or that may not be in your particular skill set. There may be other things that you could do as your intuitive and healing self besides talk with dead people. And you might want to explore those things, because the world might be missing out on what you as you can contribute to it. And I wasn't looking to be a medium, and my dad kept hammering at me, Robin, you've got to come and do this. And I'm like, you're a dead guy. Come on, give me a break. But he was right, but for a whole bunch of other different reasons. So I hope it gives you some idea of the scary stuff. And I just want to tell you one little quick story here before the next break. How we can innocently get ourselves messed up in our energy boundary. Years ago, when I was first tapping back into my intuitive and healing abilities, I realized I could pretty much talk with anything out there. So, of course, I was very curious, and there was an oil spill out here in Puget Sound in Seattle, where I live. And I went, I think I'll go explore that oil slick. Well, you have to be careful how you say things, because that meant I just thought I would sit down and think about it. But what it meant was I was astral projecting. And not only that, it meant that I was mingling my energy with the oil slick energy, right? Not having a clue about what I was doing. And what happened? I barfed for 2 solid weeks. Why? Because human body and the human energy system cannot handle the oil slick energy system. I don't know if I made the oil slick sick, but I know I made myself sick. And that's just learning to manage our boundaries. We'll be back after the break to talk about some must-dos about our energy boundaries. Hang on.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
31, 13.
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. He realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Well, Welcome back to the Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. It's Robin Fritz, and we are live in Seattle, Washington. So we're talking about our energy boundaries, getting real with our energy boundaries, the sweet, the scary, and the must-do. So I've told you some cool stuff. I've told you some scary stuff, and stuff that I know is real, stuff that I've experienced, stuff that my clients have experienced, things that I have learned in working with other beings who are not humans, and also what I've learned from working with our energy boundaries. Now, I didn't have very good energy boundaries for most of my life, and then my dog Murphy came around, and obviously I'm thinking about this in particular because this week is the anniversary of her death. But when I think about how much we learned together, and this may give you some ideas for yourself on how to manage your energy boundary. Look at this little dog, and we were having the same health issues. Like, that's like insane, right? And I didn't want her to have those issues any more than I wanted me to have those issues. And so we really worked at it. And I knocked on every door that was out there, even things that seemed dorky and really are dorky. And that's how I got into the life I'm living now, by learning what works and what doesn't work, anywhere from, foods to supplements to energy healing to all kinds of things, including just learning how to experience the world as a complete person. And that's one thing I think a lot of us aren't doing. We are complete beings when we understand that we have an energy body that surrounds our physical body and allows us to explore the world in that way. We can explore physically. We have our senses. We see, feel, hear, touch, whatever, taste things. But our energy boundaries, our energy body that surrounds us is also out there exploring things, keeping us aware of the world. And, we need to tap in and pull that close and learn how that works. Well, here's a really kind of horrible thing. And it's not horrible in a bad way. It's just horrible in like, oh my gosh, really? It's not chocolate? No. Working with energy, as we all do, even though we don't consciously think about it that way, but especially those who are working as intuitives and energy healers and are out there exploring how to connect with other things out there, from the dead to trees to the weather systems and volcanoes and the planetary dimensions and alternate dimensions that I work with, is keeping yourself grounded and balanced, right? We all hear those words, grounded and balanced. So it's really keeping your energy body in there to yourself, contained to your body, and within a certain way of it, reaching out and exploring. Just imagine yourself as growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking to explore this body. But here's what happens. It certainly happened to me, and I know it happens to a lot of people. They're out there, they're learning how to be mediums, they're learning how to do this, they're learning how to do that, and they're really growing as intuitives, which is awesome, and as healers, which is also awesome. And then they look at me and they go, I got fat. I go, yep. They go like, how did I get fat? Well, nobody will believe you when you tell them it's because they're not using energy correctly. But it is actually true. Now, I got fat and then I lost the weight, and so now my problem is cake, okay? But I also do make sure that I pay attention to my energy boundaries, especially when something happens. But here's the thing. If you're out there exploring intuitively, if you're looking to be a healer and you're working with energy, those things are bigger than our human bodies. And the more we reach out to explore these realms that are unseen to us, the heavier our body gets. Why? Because body is really working and our energy body as well, working very hard to stay on the planet, feet on the ground. And people talk a lot about grounding and sending cords down into the earth, well, that's good. You need to be grounded, but you need to be connected to all the elements. So not just earth, but water and air and fire, and of course spirit as the overall thing, and not the spirit that everybody talks about spirit, because I'm always going like, what the heck do you mean by spirit? And kind of walk away from that and get to the practical, like, what is your intuition telling you and what are you learning from it? But if you are working intuitively and as a healer and you're gaining weight, it's because you have an energy boundary issue. It's because your energy body is telling you that it's desperate for you to be grounded and balanced so that you're a whole complete person and not drifting off to Mars or someplace. Because that's a very real concern. Not that you're going to drift off to Mars, but that you're going to become really unbalanced and unable to function adequately in the world. Now, if you think I'm being silly, know this, and I've talked to several people who have worked with intuition and energy healing over the years, and they will tell you, if you ask them, that nursing homes are littered with the bodies of failed intuitives. Yes, that means that people who are working with their intuition, who are working as their healers, are not understanding how their energy body works, and they are shattering their physical bodies as a result. You don't need to do that. You don't need that to happen to you, and you shouldn't. And I hope that scares you, because it is simply not necessary. What is necessary, what you must do, is you must learn how your energy body works. You must learn how yours works. You must learn the concept of how the energy body works in general. And you must acquire techniques to keep yourself grounded and balanced, because some things are going to come along and knock you off balance. The flu, traffic, a storm system that messes up your day, too much chocolate, good things and bad things. Daily life just knocks us off center, and we have to learn to go with the flow and keep ourselves balanced and healthy. So that will give you an idea of some must-dos, and some must-dos would be to, learn how that works. But right here on the show, I'll also tell you, and we're getting towards the end of the hour here. And again, this is a topic that can go on for a long period of time, is to explore what a shamanic friend calls the true self. And the true self is, who we are at our best, who we are in our minds, the hologram of being our best self, so to speak. The truth of it being that we are discrete beings, we are contained and should be contained within ourselves, and our true self is that part of us that informs us about more than we know as physical beings. And to understand that as your true self, you are a country unto yourself. You are an independent, autonomous country. An independent, autonomous being. And that's where thinking about your energy boundaries kind of starts. So you learn basic techniques of grounding and balancing and of clearing yourself. And you do ceremonies and rituals. I have Himalayan salt lamps all over the house. And lots of lavender, which I cannot get my new cat to quit eating. I don't know why she likes lavender. But these are things that remind me on a daily basis that I have chosen a way of life that makes me aware of things that are not human, that are involved in the intuitive and healing realms, and the work that I came here to do, which is different than other people. But we all have something that's different, right? And I have lots of crystals. I like them because they're beautiful, but they all also have different properties that assist me in my work. And that's how I go about my day. So find things that work for you, that you can develop rituals and routines and little tricks to get you back on track if something knocks you off. A couple weeks ago, I got attacked by a very large dog that was trying to get my dog, my little 20-pound Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, trying to bite him over my shoulder while standing on my back. Okay, literally that knocked me off balance. But I was very aware of that, and once I dealt with the police and the animal control people and so on, then I went about, okay, what do I need to do to get myself rebalanced? What do I need to do to make sure my dog is okay and he's not frightened? And we took care of ourselves that day. And it wasn't just that physical well-being, it's the mental, it's the body, mind, and spirit well-being that we all need to keep aware of. So here's one little technique I want to just teach you quickly here on the radio, and then I'm going to launch into some other things to remind you of today. It's a simple exercise that you can do to just feel how you can manage your energy boundary. If you feel like you're just knocked off track, or you just came out of a busy meeting, or you're going into a meeting where you think, you're going to really need to be on your toes, take a moment and just breathe. Really, just to breathe. And there are all kinds of techniques for breathing, but obviously we breathe, right? But to think about your breathing and to allow it to get you centered and grounded and balanced so that your energy body is pulled back into you and not running off to, some foreign country because it's frightened or concerned. Breathe in to the count of 4, but breathe straight to your solar plexus. Don't breathe to your lungs. So if you put your hand right there on your gut and you breathe in, to the count of 4, you can feel your gut expand. And then exhale to the count of 4, and you feel your gut flatten. I'll try it again. I'll add one more trick. Breathe in to the count of 4, feel your gut expand. Hold it for a count of 4. And now exhale to the count of 4. And you feel your gut flatten. You can change that up. Breathe into the count of 2, hold for 4, release for 4, whatever works for you. But to concentrate physically on that process of breathing and to feel your solar plexus, because you know what? Most of us are involved in this process called paradoxical breathing, which I learned from a physical therapist years ago. Yes, I know, it sounds kind of funny, right? But we're breathing backwards. That's how stressed we are and how disconnected we are, not just to our bodies, but to our energy bodies. Because if you're breathing into your solar plexus, you're breathing in where you need to be breathing. But most of us are breathing from our lungs or even from our backs, and that's really not getting all the air we need. So in a sense, we're not really serving our bodies properly either by not learning these techniques. So I've given you a lot of information on energy boundaries today. And of course, I would love it if you checked out my upcoming webinar series at the Experts platform at OMTimes.com, experts.omtimes.com/Robin Fritz. And it's developing your energy boundaries. It starts March 20th. It's a webinar platform. It's going to be 5 sessions. We're going to work hard on our energy boundaries. We're going to work as teams, individual teams. We're going to explore how ours work or don't work, get them really healthy, mind, body, spirit connection. Everyone will work one-on-one with me, which is why I've had to limit the class numbers that can attend so that everybody gets one-on-one with me and with Fallon to work on their energy boundaries. And there's a Facebook group. But 5 weeks of really exploring, and I have all kinds of exercises to do. At the end of that 5 weeks, it's going to be very basic for you. This is going to become routine, which it should be, so that when something comes up, like what's knocks you off balance, you can really get back into balance very easily, and that's really important. So if you're interested in the webinar series, it's $100. It's less than what people pay for an hour of my time. You get 5 hours plus Facebook time. Send me an email at robin@robinfritz.com or connect with me on Facebook, and we can chat about it and how that would work to serve you. Because honestly, learning how your energy boundaries work is really the critical thing that we all have to do today. I know I've told you some scary stories, but they are true scary stories. And I don't like hearing about people who get knocked up from knocked off balance by things that didn't need to upset them if they had understood better about handling their boundaries. And really, the world is really busy. It really is moving faster than really we can keep up with. You know, evolution takes longer than 20 minutes, certainly for our animal families. But honestly, if you look around you today, evolution is our own human evolution isn't going fast enough to keep up with all the changes that are happening in the world. There's just too much going on out there. So join me in that series. I'd love to have you. I'd love to work one-on-one with you. And next week, March 12th, we're going to be talking on the show about when getting angry is sacred work. Yeah, when life isn't easy, but how we handle a crisis, what our role is in the world. Do we get mad or do we get even, or what do we do? That became very real for me a few weeks ago. On Monday, March 19th, jobs to do when you're dead. Yep. If you think the afterlife is all harps and choirs, it's not. You know, so come and learn about what really happens when we die and the kinds of jobs that we can do. And my dad will be joining us from the afterlife. Sorry, he just chimed in laughing. Because he's always joining us anyway. And on Monday, March 26th, which is only a few days from my dad's birthday, March 29th, we're going to be talking with my radio sponsor, Kim Valines of Earthlight Rocks and Gems. Crystals for spring. You know, spring is coming, I promise you. So today we have connected with Fallon. We have talked a lot about the sweet, the scary, and the must-dos for our energy boundaries. And I want to close out by connecting again and just getting you grounded and balanced in your body. So let's just close us out. Cross your hands over your heart. Breathe into the palms of your hands. Breathe healthy, positive energy. Invite your energy body to just comfort you and protect you and be around you the way it needs to be its best. Blow into the palms of your hands. Just feel that air on your palms. And then cross your hands back again on your heart. So you're re-grounded back into your body. That crown chakra from connecting with Fallon this hour is closed out. Have any questions? Email me at my website. My service